Hello everyone, this is your boy Feltouch here and welcome back to another video of mine, and today we're going to be discussing the whole England managerial situation. So of course last night England drew 2-2 against Spain in a friendly fixture. They were winning 2-0 until the 89th minute, and then suddenly England just had a little bit of a collapse, like England's top order in cricket more recently. But to be honest with you, it was still a pretty decent performance despite the end result. It was sort of like watching City in a way, the end performance there, picking up a 2-2 draw after completely dominating most of the fixture. Welcome to being a Manchester City fan and also an England fan now apparently. So Gareth Southgate, he was formerly England under-21 manager, and of course after the whole Sam Allardyce fiasco has been thrown in the deep end, given the England manager's job on an interim basis, and then the idea is they're going to decide after these fixtures whether he's going to get the job. And to be honest with you, he's done alright since he's been England manager, but that is where I'm going to say he's done alright. The first game which he had, it was against Slovenia away from home. He drew 0-0. It wasn't really a great performance, and England went back into the old England philosophy. Then once again, England played pretty poorly in the Scotland game, but scraped a 3-0 win. We were very, very good in front of goal, but on another day, if Scotland had scored early doors in that fixture, it could have been a little bit of an interesting result as to what it would have ended up as if Scotland had someone who could stick the ball in the back of the net. And of course, last night was probably Southgate's best performance now as England manager, yet still failed at the final hurdle to win the fixture. Now, for me, I think that Southgate has got England team playing pretty positively good attacking football. They've scored quite a few headers, and I think that he likes the technical young players. At the moment, England have got a very, very young squad. He's implementing lots of young players into the side, definitely building a squad for the future, but I'm sure we've said that for the last 10 years as England. We're definitely trying to build a squad for the future, but when is this future coming? We've honestly have a young squad now, but when are these players ever going to hit the top of the game? That's the thing at the moment. We just can't yet to see. And to be honest with you, I feel like Southgate has done an alright job. But when it comes to being given the full England manager, is he the right man for the job? I don't know. Personally, I feel that Southgate has some advantages, and I'll talk those through. He understands the England youth setup. He's worked as England under-21 manager for a number of years, and the whole philosophy behind the FA now and the whole St George's Park philosophy basically is that he wants to implement players having the same philosophy from under-16s up to under-21s into the full England national team. And I think that Southgate understands this whole ethos. He wants to include all these young players in the squad. He also wants to see the improvement of all players at all levels, and I think he understands what England want to be for the future. But the problem is, as a manager himself, is he the right man to do it at the top of the game? He understands everything behind the scenes, but whether it's on the pitch, if he's the right man for the job, I don't know. We're looking at his managerial history. You're talking about Middlesbrough, he got him relegated. On top of that, he's been England under-21 manager, and there's been a very, very good run of form there. England have won successively 27 matches in a row, something like that, until the game against France the other day. Adi Boufroid unfortunately lost that fixture. And then, if you look at his tournament history in the past, it's not been that great. He disappointed quite a lot at the last Euros tournament. He didn't really do that well in the last under-21s tournament as far as I know. And then when he's come to England now, has his performances on the pitch as a manager been that good? I don't know. Is he the man who's responsible for the draws? I think that there's definitely been some improvements on the pitch, but after the last Euros where we failed, we were talking about we need this man who's got passion. We need this guy who loves England, wants to see proper football. We went for Sam Allardyce, and now we've done this full circle, and are now suggesting that Gareth Southgate, a man with previously very, very little managerial experience, should be the guy who should be England's manager. Has he got the tournament experience? Obviously not. For me, I feel like England need a guy who has definitive tournament experience, a top manager. For me, it doesn't matter whether the guy's English or not. We had Capello, we've had Sven-Göran Eriksson, they weren't successful. I think that's what their characters are like. I feel like England perhaps need a guy at the top who has got a distinct philosophy, understands international football, and for me, I'll go for a guy like Marcelo Bielsa. If you don't know the geezer, he's had a very, very successful and rich history as a manager. He's 61 years age, I believe. He's recently just walked away from a job at Lazio. I think he got the job and walked away after 2 days, and it's being something like £50 million lawsuit being against him at the moment, but in his past he was Argentina's manager. He definitely can be held as a man who started off this Chile revolution in their footballing history at the moment in their international team, and he definitely is a very, very intelligent guy. He's a very, very good man manager. He knows how to get the best out of his players. He was at Atletico Bilbao a few years ago when they went for a very, very big peak in their history, getting them into the Champions League. Had a very, very decent team with them. And a lot of people talk about him being as a very, very intelligent guy, very, very similar in a way to Pep Guardiola, high pressing football, and for me, I feel like that he could be the right man for the job, but I think that England are probably going to go through the same wormhole as per usual and appoint Gareth Southgate. Whether he's the right man for the job, I hope to be proven wrong. I'm sitting on the fence with him, to be honest with you. I haven't got much care whether he does get the job or not. I feel like we should give him 6 months, see what he's like, and then perhaps offer him the job after that. At the moment in time, he's going through a massive job interview. That's what you got to think these fixtures as. And for me, he's doing alright. I've got to be honest, he's doing alright. But whether we want to be excellent at the top, I don't know. When we look at that Spain performance last night, we have to look at that Spanish team. It wasn't a vintage team, but there was a lot of players missing from the England team as well. So there was definite improvements, and the way England played in that fixture, I see that this side could be pretty decent for a few years to come, and hopefully competing for a very, very high finish, hopefully, in the next World Cup. But we'll have to see how we get on. But there's so many problems surrounding the England team, which doesn't necessarily start with the manager. All the time it's rested on the manager's fault, but why don't we look at other problems? Do we look at the FA? Do we look at the Premier League, the way how many English players are being integrated in the England team? Do we look at the press? I mean, when you look at the press, you look at people like Glenn Hoddle, former England manager, seemingly clueless, very, very famously had a geezer who was a spiritual healer in his England squad, and also let's not forget that he said that disabled people are the devil, basically. So I mean, this guy shouldn't really have much of an opinion. And for years we've talked about England playing a good technical style of play. We want to see passing football, not just poofing up the pitch like England teams of old. And yet as soon as we finally get these technical players, he slates them. He absolutely slated John Stones last night and the last previous games, not necessarily because he was defending, but because he wanted to play the right style of football, which he's playing at City at the moment. It just amazes me sometimes when I listen to some people. Yes, John Stones isn't necessarily the best defender in the world, but he definitely understands how to play football, and it's a lot better than just booting the ball at the pitch aimlessly like we've done for absolutely decades, which I feel like we've been doing. So it'll be hopefully nice to see if Gareth Southgate can implement these young players, get them playing the right style of football, get them winning football fixtures as well. We'll have to see. I believe the next fixture's around March next year, February, I believe it's around that sort of time. I think that he's probably going to get given the job. Whether that's necessarily right or not, that's up to you guys. I want to hear what you think in the comment section down below. Thank you very much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and check out links in the description below. I'll read about you.